It's time to gather together. Hi there, I'm Yelta, and I'll be buying the first round while we chat about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 187. Pull up a chair and join us. On the menu tonight, presenting the winners of the A Glamourous Guise screenshot contest. Join us for Duty Commenced episode 35 on November 22nd. Final Fantasy XIV at the Game Awards. UK fan gathering in London. The Epic of Alexander has been cleared. We'll check in on Ishgardian Restoration, and we have fan mail. First, let's shoot the shit. What has been going on this week? Hey, Ruby.
Hi, Yelta. How are you, ma'am?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Good, I think. So,
You think?
yes, but I'm here, and hopefully loud and clear. I've been doing a lot of crafting in-game. It's been a lot of fun for me. I have not done much battle content whatsoever. I can't tell if I'm supposed to feel good or bad about that. I don't know. But as it stands, that's how I feel about battle content. I just don't really want to do it. I want to spend my time crafting. And I also will say that I'm very thankful that I did not have all my crafters at max level before Ishgardian Restoration began, because I would be very bored. I would be very, very bored right now. I guess I would have ground out for that giant gorilla already, but after that, who cares, right? So I have a plan. Right now, my gatherers are all booked up. I got all the books. I got all the gear that I care about at the moment. I do need to finish up a few more HQ pieces on the body to get the facet stuff, and then like main hands and off hands. The crafted ones, but I'm not at a bad spot. I can do everything I really want to do at this point. So my plan is I'm going to finish on my crafters, and then I'm going to work on the gear for the gatherers, because the idea is to have my crafters where I can overmeld, right? So then I will overmeld my gatherer gear, and then I'll finish up my crafter gear, and then I'll be ready for the next set of Ishgardian Restoration, patch 5.2, that I hope is more challenging than what we've had thus far in 5.1. So I got plenty of challenge ahead of me for crafting, but maybe it's kind of good that I'm in a crafting gathering mood. You know, it used to be like I do battle content, and Sundays I'd spend some time, and I don't know, I got too heavy on one side and not the other. Really, through Stormblood, I did no crafting or gathering content whatsoever. I got the gatherers up initially, and then I completely whiffed on the crafters. So it was time for me to really catch up, and maybe it took a big push to get me there. But I'm thankful for the content because it gives me something to do. We'll see what I have to say about it once I hit 80. And we'll see if I do some battle content in the near future, because I sure haven't seen much of Nier, and I sure haven't seen much of Hades EX yet. I'm living vicariously through Yelta, who will now tell us about all the wonderful content she did last week.
Well, the votes are in. I think we're doing a map party tomorrow if you want to come and like completely fuck our luck.
Yeah, ruin it for you.
Ruin it. No portals when Ruby comes.
Great.
Oh, but what I did, I did also do Ishgard Restoration, gathered the things, crafted the things, handed them in. I think I reported last week I had done the Fate twice. I think it was like 2:16 in the morning. I think our last fate, or our second to the last fate, came up, and I tried to do it, and all the other things would spawn except for the box to pick up the initial supplies would not spawn on my screen. And people are like, hit F1 or hit 0 on your keyboard or whatever, and I'm like, but it's not showing up. It's not spawning on my screen, and I'd like leave where maybe it would render and come back and nothing. So I was still salty about that. It's content in the game, touted to be leveling content, casual content, for everyone to do, and I couldn't participate at the level I wanted to, and it wasn't my fault. So we'll talk more about that salt, I think, in a bit. But it's done. Ishgard Restoration is complete. You can still gather stuff and hand it in for script, but the zone is upgraded as it's going to get, and what's his name says he'll let you know when it's time to do more. So, okay. I also did weekly stuff. I think I actually capped. I ran Nier twice. I got my 2B coffer, so I was happy.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it looks completely fucking ridiculous on me, but I wanted to have it, so I put it in my
Yeah,
shed.
what's Lalafell ass look like?
No, Lalafell asses are cute, but they're
Okay.
just kind of cute. So, but I got the coffer. I only rolled, the highest thing I rolled was a 66, so I'm assuming either people already have it and are passing, or everybody rolled shitty that run. So, and I didn't die once. Before we started
Great.
recording, I was talking about how 24 mans, you don't have to be very good to get through it. And I die a lot on 24 mans. And sometimes it's my fault, just not understanding some mechanics, or you know, I have bad latency. Someday I'm going to move somewhere with like good internet and I can't use that excuse anymore, but I do have latency issues. But I don't think I died once, and I like raised. No, I do think I died once, but it was just like a normal thing. It wasn't me being completely moronic. So, but you know, I did Beast Tribe dailies every day. I've been working. I haven't been like queuing up for a whole lot of stuff, but I took my astrologian into like, I don't know, MSQ roulette, MSQ coin flip. And I couldn't remember I didn't know how any of the cards worked now. So I'm like during cutscenes, I'm like reading guides. It looks like these 3 cards go on melee DPS or tanks, or these cards go on ranged DPS or healers. I have no idea. But I joined it in progress, and you can pretty much just AFK through that anyway. I mean, I don't AFK through that. I keep up with the team, and when there's action going on, I'm fighting and healing and whatever, but I don't know. I don't really know how to astrologian.
It's kind of hard, huh?
Yeah, it's... I think I have more trouble wrapping my head around the cards and it not being about... It's more about, like, support damage, kind of. Like, I'm, like, vicariously giving raid DPS to someone else or something. Not doing it directly. But you have good damaging spells, too, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'll probably continue to do some leveling. I haven't been like hitting it hard. Just like I'll do like my Beast Tribe dailies. So Beast Tribe dailies get me on every day, and then I'll go gather and craft, or I'll go do a couple roulettes. I do need to get my ass back into Hades. I still don't have a clear, but that's because I haven't even tried. I basically like tried like for 2 days in a row, or one day. I don't even remember now. We did like one free company day, and then I did a little bit after that evening, and then like a little bit the next day for a couple hours. So I haven't even been in there much. I have to get in there before all the learning parties are gone. Maybe there are still some out there, or well, you do have to you have to camp the party finder. People always say that these parties don't exist anymore, but there are some that maybe don't. But you know, there are some that I didn't think would ever fill that fill. You know, first time bonus for, you know, stuff not even unsynced. Parties will fill and people will do them to help some newbie through or whatever. But I do want to get in there and do some Hades EX. I gotta watch a video again, read some guides again, because that's about my speed. I didn't even like go into Savage even doing, you know, the first floor this week. But EX primals are kind of my... Of course, Hades EX is kind of not the easiest one. It's kind of the same level as what Shinryu was back in the day. So, but that's about what I did. You can shoot the shit with us. You can go to the website, tell us what you've been up to, www.gtffxiv.com. Let us know what you've been doing. The first round is news, presenting the winners of the A Glamourous Guise screenshot contest. I did open this up and scroll down through some of the entries.
What'd you like?
I don't remember now.
Let's look again together.
It's on Facebook. Most of them are just kind of meh to me. I don't know.
I see some themes. Here's a Rosie the Riveter.
Mm-hmm.
They're cute. It's a lot of close-up shots is what I'm seeing. It's pretty balanced overall.
A couple of them are quite cute. A couple of them are a little weird. But,
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that's just like slapped me in the face, going like amazing. But they're pretty decent. Yeah, it's kind of the standard fare cute, you know, cute Lalafell doing the yay pose and
someone in Thavnarian on the flying carpet mount. Yeah,
and a machinist doing backflips. Like it's cool.
They're cute though.
Is this a Snow White?
Kind of. Looks like a Snow White.
In the pumpkin carriage or whatever?
No, kind of near the top. She's got a blue top and the corsage, red corsage on the wrist.
That would be Snow White, yeah. That'd be more of a Snow White thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, they look at Alice in Wonderland looking.
Oh, I see.
A couple scroll down. Alice in Wonderland's my favorite.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland. But yeah, very cute. I don't know what they got for this. I can't remember. I have to go look. It would be nice if they showed like.
It'd be nice if they linked to
just
the
your
original
best
article
armor.
in this thing, or they showed here's what the grand prize winners received.
Yeah. I bet it's the same stuff they've been getting for 2 years.
Sorry to say.
I said that out loud. Oh, all right. Join us for Duty Commenced, episode 35 on November 22nd. Is that Friday? That must be Friday. I and Danelle are going to be doing the copied factory. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll be doing Minstrel's Ballad, Hades' Elegy. All right. Ooh, they're going to give away Yukinoko plushies, those little snowballs with
From
covers.
Ice Hell.
I liked that place.
You liked
Well,
Pagos.
I liked parts of Pagos,
Mm.
but it was not my favorite part.
I got to go back, Yelta. I still need to go back. I hear it's fun.
Have you heard it's fun? Because I need stuff from the chests.
Okay, I didn't hear it was fun. I heard
Stop
it was.
lying.
I heard it was still productive though. That people like there are people who will still run it for groups, and you can still make it happen. There are people that are still doing Pagos, but I feel like that's one of the major commitments. Like if I'm logging on to do Eureka, I'm logging on to do some fucking Eureka.
I'm doing it for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
The next fucking 18 hours or some shit.
Well, there's like mounts I don't have because I didn't get into like. I think one of them is like I finished a relic all the way and then it went back to Pagos and it was working on a second relic, so I never like farmed out coffers in Pyros and Hydados or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm missing mounts that it probably would be too hard to get a mount party, a warped loot box or whatever, lockbox farming party going. I bet they would fill. So, yeah, I got to go back to.
Funny you talked about missing mounts. I was reading the official forums today because I hate myself. And I was reading a post about missing achievements and people complaining about the diadem being completely changed into a gathering aspect, that there may be achievements that they will no longer be able to get and that it is unfair. And I just thought about all those 1.0 achievements that I was not able to get.
There's a lot I didn't get, and I played that shit a lot.
Some things are not fair. I don't know that they'll come back around again in some way, shape, form. I don't have any promise of that either, that they would return. So
I would
we'll
be
see.
surprised if they, did put in an equivalent one for kind of the same achievement. That wouldn't bother me. I mean, not for the 1.0 ones, but like the like reworking something and they never, because there's diadem achievements I don't think I got. So I don't know. All right, Final Fantasy XIV at the Game Awards. It is currently a nominee for Community Support, Ongoing Game, and Role-Playing Game. Ooh, I have to sign in and vote for this shit, huh?
Yeah, we need to do that. So I'm going to look, let me see who we're up against. Under Role-Playing Game, we're up against Disco Asylum, Kingdom Hearts 3, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, that's that new expansion, and The Outer Worlds. Interesting. Did you play? I know you played Monster Hunter. I don't know if you played the
I did not
expansion.
Play that. I did not play the expansion. Okay, that's fresh indie game. Games for Impact. Multiplayer game? No.
MMO.
MMO.
Oh, RPG, role-playing game.
Role-playing game. Disco Elysium. I heard that is a very good game, and people were loving it. Yeah. Did not play Kingdom Hearts 3. Did not play Iceborne. Did not play The Outer Worlds. I actually heard Outer Worlds was really good, too. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, so ongoing game, Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fortnite, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. In fact, I watch a lot of streamers. I don't watch much Destiny 2. The streamers I watch, when Apex was hot, I'd watch them play it, but I haven't seen them play Apex recently. Siege, I've got a few streamers that I watch that play Siege on the reg, and Fortnite, I avoid those streams altogether. But I've watched a few of them in my time. They're all somewhat. Destiny 2's not really, and people might say Siege isn't necessarily. But they're like all first-person shooters, in that sense, or, they're all shooters compared to the MMO. So, I don't know. I hope Final Fantasy stands out, but I feel like this is one that it'd probably lose to, like, Fortnite or something.
I feel like we're robbed if we didn't get, like the audio nom, or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of sad we're not in the category for score and music, because this was so good, this expansion. I would have really have enjoyed that. Okay, and what's the last category? Because I'm trying to find it by scrolling.
It was community support.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's it. Community support. Let me see if I
ongoing
can
game and role-playing game.
Scroll. Community support.
Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Rainbow Six Siege. So it's the same.
Oh, it's the same set.
Yeah.
Do you think Final Fantasy 14 will win community support?
Not the way our players get treated sometime. I don't think so. I mean, I don't want to diss on any of the Final Fantasy 14 community reps, but I don't know compared to the other games. I don't know. I see a lot of horror stories about community support, so you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the other communities though either. Maybe they're just all hot trash, and maybe the Apex Legend community is just a total wasteland, just diseased and
just
mangled.
Beyond all recognition of a game.
I don't know. Ours is, a great community. We all know that.
It is a great community, by the way.
So great.
All right, and there was a UK fan gathering in London. There are tweets. The only thing I caught out of this is that, oh yeah, Yoshi just confirmed it's going to be on PlayStation 5. And I'm like, and? So
and?
Do you know what else was in?
A couple of screenshots, or pictures, screenshots, my ass. Pictures. It looks really nice. It's kind of this underground kind of look. It looks, what's the word? Not urban, like industrial, but they've got some cool purple lighting in it, and it's really cute. They did a good job. I see a handful of people, maybe like 50 people. I'm sure it was more than that, but just the one shot I saw, maybe 50, 70 people in it.
Okay. It was a smaller gathering.
Small venue.
Whatever, right? Yeah.
Small venue. I think PS5 is like the biggest announcement, but which is kind of piggybacking on Sony talking about that that are doing the PS5 and possible backwards compatibility all the way. So, did we have expectations? More than likely, that it'd be on PS5. We just heard the stuff about the Xbox, and I think it would be probably a smart decision to wait for that next generation to really kick off. But we'll see what direction they go with it. They got the money. I guess if they want to put it on Xbox One, they can put it on Xbox One. We'll see what they do. It's fantastic, though. This is great. I'm looking forward to the PS5. I'm probably not going to jump on it right away because it seems like the older I get, the less shit I play on whatever the newest generation console is, and I never can beat them all anyway. And if I buy a PS5, I'm going to have 3 games on it and have beaten one of them. A PS6 would have half a game on it. I don't know. I don't know
and
what
you're
to
still
do.
playing shit on your Switch anyway.
But my Switch, yes, gets a lot of play, and indie games get a lot of respect and admiration from me. I really love playing those little indie games on the Switch. So put 14 on the Switch. Don't do that. Please don't.
That.
Do not do that.
I do not want to hear Nintendo Switch limitations. Didn't we already say that last week?
Yeah, I think we did. Let's not test those
don't
limitations. Don't do it.
As much as and you're right. I would hate for them to go to all the time and effort to do an Xbox One version, unless it's like an easy starter port to the. I have no idea what it takes to migrate those games up or upgrade them. Or, are they total rewrites or are they just? I don't know. All right, then the big news. Dun, 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 dun. The Epic of Alexander has been cleared. I think this was cleared. This one, North America got the win this time around. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thoughts per
Yes.
second was number 1. Yeah.
Very cool. Congratulations, Thoughts Per Second. Very, very cool. I had been following lightly the race. I know you have been too. We're checking out the board on Final Fantasy 14 Progress. This is Frosty's site that keeps up with all the stuff. As far as I know, it's Frosty's site. And this is where we're getting all the information. Quite a few people are clearing now. It did take a little bit after that first clear, 3 days to get that clear. Japanese group cleared. In fact, the 2 Japanese groups cleared almost back to back after that, and then we've had several groups clear after. And now it's cascaded. Everybody and their mom's clearing it now. It's so easy. You know, these guys and their ACT triggers.
Playing the game for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the shit. You know, like this goes 2 ways. There's 2 directions I want to talk about on this tonight. And the first is I do want to give the congratulations and kudos because this was some Galaxy Brain stuff. Apparently, this fight had a trick to it. And I want to read. It's a little lengthy, but I don't think it's too bad. And I think it's interesting if you like this sort of thing. You know, skip 10 minutes ahead if you don't. But I think it's interesting to find out how the thought process of how going through a fight would be. I will also kind of throw out there. This is from that first group. This is from Thoughts Per Second, and this is I think Svia's post. And but it's got a little bit of mix of what other people were thinking throughout this. And he and one other were on not Mog Talk, because that's Frosty's. Were on Mr. Happy. They were on Mr. Happy's broadcast recently with Sly. So go check them out. If you're interested in that. It was good. I watched the first part of that. It was pretty cool to hear them talk about their thought process there. But I'm going to read this. Oh, here it goes. So this is our thought process when it came to deciphering Fate Calibration Alpha and obtaining the Enigma Codex. You either need to be in a tinfoil hat wearer or watch a lot of Rick and Morty to solve this mechanic. Mind you, this is going to be a little funny. When we first saw Fate Calibration, we didn't have a clue what was going on. Boss just stands still and then annihilates your team with either a motion or still mechanic and then lasers and other mechanics. We said to ourselves, we need more data, so we went back to see if there was a pattern. We split up into 4x4 groups, 2 groups of 4, trying different things. Half the group would move and half the group would stay still to see what was going on with the lasers, what hidden mechanics existed. As it turned out, there didn't seem to be any sort of roll pattern, and we could not predict still versus motion. The boss says the following in English when starting his cast: difference engine fully powered, beginning future simulation. Future simulation made sense to me at the time, but difference engine seemed to state that he is basing this off of something that has already happened. He will do the opposite of whatever has previously happened. This was our first mistake. We looked at Perfect Alexander during previous phases to see if there was any correlation between his order of motion and stillness and what happened during Alpha. There didn't seem to be any, but that doesn't make any sense. There has to be something. We kept pulling, and some of us had the dumb idea of thinking the boss was doing a difference on my movement during the cast bar. So if I would stand still, then the boss would do motion next. Specifically, the group stacked up in a line in front of the boss in a specific order, not moving. After 2 pulls, this was deemed incorrect and seemed to not influence the mechanic at all. We checked if the mechanics players got earlier in the fight in any way influenced what we got there, why we got there. Why else would SE give you such a long cast time? It's clearly so you can watch footage or think back to previous phases and remember what mechanics you got. This was quickly shown to not be the case, especially since the deformation seemed to represent no pattern. Next, we got hit with the biggest bamboozle of all time. Perfect Alexander glows at irregular intervals. I've seen this, Yelta. I don't know if you've picked up on this watching the fight.
I didn't really follow this stuff very closely.
It's a big troll here. Perfect Alexander will glow randomly during his cast and during the fight. This is great because we have plenty of footage of this from previous attempts. What's even more evidence is that we have footage of Perfect Alexander turning his glow on and off during Fake Calibration Alpha at 25% intervals. This has to mean something. So now we know the boss can glow up to 4 times during Fake Calibration Alpha, and therefore robots. Cool, this makes sense, but we need to consider what a double glow means. If the boss glows from 25 to 75%, this would correlate to 2 safe robots. Furthermore, we noticed the glow wasn't exactly correct in determining the safe spot unless you read the robots from right to left instead of left to right. This was also proved somewhat inconclusive. But then we thought maybe it depends on if he's glowing during motion versus stillness at the start of the fight. What if he is glowing during the start of Fate Projection Alpha? Maybe this means the boss is inverting everything he has done so far. It is the boss using a difference engine after all. As you can probably tell by now, this got really complicated really fast. Some of us were dead set on the glow being the solution, while others were not convinced. I'm pretty sure this was just a weather effect of the zone. The zone has strange lighting in the background. There were a bunch of light, seems to be pulled to a black hole. We couldn't say for sure what was really going on. So this goes on for just a little bit, and I want to get to the heart of the mechanic, heart being the real part here. We started looking, I think it starts right here. Let me go here. We started looking at what we could interact with during Inception. We started to try doing Inception without one judgment and placing it in the middle of the room. Cruise Chaser would spawn on the crystal, blow it up, and do something. We would then bait Brute Justice on top of a crystal, which was pretty easy to test. This seemed to make a lot of sense since the heart can be slowed and you only need 3 crystals to do Inception, since if no crystal explodes, then you know it's the empty spot. The heart's HP is also pretty low, meaning we could kill it before it reached the middle of the room with cooldowns easily. The theory didn't work, but during one of the attempts we messed up and had some orbs blow up, so we couldn't kill the heart. The heart ate the crystal and gained a stack of damage taken down. I thought nothing of it. We went to bed. We were tired and confused. I was dead set on just going back to Fate Calibration Alpha at this point and figuring it out. You know, the glowing lights and such. I was getting a bit upset that my group was throwing this hard by testing out dumb as fuck crazy theories. And ooh, they said predation must be a bug. We just didn't understand the mechanic, and the situation has to be the same here. We all decided to sleep on it while Cleese, one of the group members, was looking at the videos trying to come up with literally anything. While sleeping, a bunch of us had the idea that we had one last interaction to test. I kind of skimmed the chat, but I know Sofia specifically pointed the stack out. What if we give the heart 4 stacks? I was pretty tilted at this point, to be quite honest. I figured this was a waste of time. How do you even solve Inception anyway with no crystals? This was no easy task to execute anyway. The damage seemed insanely high. And if you place 2 judgment crystals on top of each other, they begin to pulse and explode. While pulsing, they can't be taken by the heart. We tried creating a line with the crystals, but it didn't work, since Alexander will just blow one up. This means you can only feed 3 crystals in a line. We saw the heart's hitbox was about that of a Waymark and decided to go with a box strat. We would use tank limit break 3 and all tank cooldowns to at least see what would happen. Unless the damage was a 10 million damage one shot, the tanks could at least live. As it just so happens, a close proximity damage crystal is not 10 million damage. Gave that a shot, and to our surprise, the heart turned gold and gave us all a buff. Killed the fight the very same day we got the buff. Thanks for reading. It's funny. I know that sounded like a lot of mumbo jumbo. If you haven't watched the fight, I can't go into every mechanic specifically. I thought the coolest part was that they looked at a mechanic, they saw a problem, and thought to think outside of the box to let a mechanic go through, and it happened to be the right choice by sleeping on it. And this stumped so many people. I've seen that, in previous Ultimate fights, they would say, well, we're not going to upload the video. We want people to give it a shot. But I don't think it was necessarily because there was some hidden mechanic that people weren't doing properly. In this case, it was like this group galaxy brained And if anything leaked, that would have just been the cascade that, everybody would have gotten it. But because they were able to figure out this puzzle, they were able to get the fight. That thrills me. I like the idea of some puzzle type mechanics, especially in the hardest of the hard fights, because that's what it's about. It's not just I can jump rope really good. It's can you figure this fight out, and we're going to give you something cool. I think this is a success. Going back to Mr. Happy, State of the Realm is the name of the podcast. State of the Realm, they asked the question, Sly asked this great question, where does this compare in order of where you like it? And then Mr. Happy followed up with, what is it in order of difficulty, prog versus completion and repeat? And they both give their answers there. But it was interesting to hear how high they rank this in comparison with the other two. I know there's only 3, but they rank this either the best or on par with the best in every category. So, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's neat that they figured this out. That's my thoughts.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I like that it kind of threw everybody for a little bit. And, I completely understand why they don't share everything immediately once they figure something out, because honestly, this is a little bit of a competition there before, how long did it take? Just over a week or something. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and with great victory comes great bullshit from this great community, because there was just a lot of bullshit that was thrown at this group, and I follow Sfia on Twitter, and I was seeing the posts about, there were some that I don't have them pulled up, so I'm not going to say they were death threats, but I think I saw some, but, I'm going to leave that off to the side. I do have an example of, you need to unsub. People, Laugh My Ass says people get sick of padding your ass and leave your group. You're never getting world first. You might as well unsub. There's a reason you'll never win and you never will win a tier. That kind of shit that this could very well be just one person that hates someone else and is just posting this over and over and over. But it's just kind of gross that we just can't have or do nice things without people shitting all over it. This is supposed to be a really happy time. So I'm totally, congratulations. I think this is fantastic.
It's an incredible achievement, and they worked really hard to perform, dance the dance, and do enough damage and figure stuff out, and not kill each other in the process. Raiding is stressful, and raiding, when you're competitively raiding, that first of all, I could never do it. Right, I could never ever do it. It would make me nuts. Mm-hmm. But these guys do it. They like doing it, and they let us know when they win, and they give us little snippets as they go, and it's fun watching the first 20 teams do it, and then they write the guides, and then other people who are kind of the second ring of people go and do it. So I think it's awesome. And at the same time, while it's an amazing achievement and kudos to them, people who get salty about it, I'm like, in what way show me on the doll where this hurt you? Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't understand. You might be either jealous or I can't even think of, I don't know what fake internet points we're fighting for, but I don't understand getting that cranky about it. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't understand what's worth getting that worked up about to be negative about it.
It's ridiculous.
And not, you've posted some screenshots in here of some of the messages or whatever that were like hateful. I saw another one that was like way death threaty, and if that was real, they should have, that's the kind of shit you call the cops. You're like, these are actual death threats.
Yeah, I know I saw something that was really gross, and I didn't capture it at the time, and I was just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? This is what people say to world first groups. I know there was a lot of that. I can't believe these people used third-party programs, which is why Square Enix had to officially declare them the winners on the Twitter. They had to post that this is the world first group. That I believe was to silence the naysayers that were talking about using third-party programs. I mean, believe it or not, there were people saying like, well, they used triggers to do the fight. How the fuck do you use triggers for a fight that has not been beaten yet? Who made the triggers?
Well, and even if you're data mining and learning like the ability names or something, because that's real, right? We knew the ability names before the fight was even live.
Right.
But you don't know what to do when that comes up anyway. It could yell, you could set it up to look for that, but you wouldn't know what to do. Even if everybody was data mining and even if everybody was pulling all the info they possibly could out of it, it's not like people waltzed up and like performed the dance perfectly the first minute. That said, I mean, it sounds more like, if they were like watching videos of their gameplay and trying to figure shit out, this was not just something that's like, all right, I got the secret code from parsing or from dat mining or whatever. It's like, no, I don't know. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, so I do have it pulled up, Yelta. I found it, and it's from it says Justice Murder Group FFXIV. There's evidence of your cheating, and we will provide it to Yoshida and his team so they can take a close look at your action. Hopefully, you'll be banned from 14. Your group is creating an illegal advantage with data mining, ACT triggers, and a private server. We're going to kill you at the next Fan Fest. We know, thanks to Mog Talk, your IRL face and know what you look like. Well, then that's the same thing. But you don't know us. We'll stab you like a pig and throw you bleeding in a corner, you miserable loser. Thinking you won Alexander Ultimate fair is an insult. It'll not be tolerated what you have done, and we will do everything to erase you from life. We start with you, and everyone who thinks to cheat in the next Ultimate will be killed by us. You wouldn't be the first ones we killed. I mean, the first ones we killed.
That's
okay,
going
buddy.
like beyond just being salty. That's.
I mean, I agree with you. That's, we need to get somebody involved in this. That's ridiculous. Also, you won't be the first ones we killed. Okay, buddy. All right. Anyway. But still, anything like that should be taken seriously, and there should be repercussions for doing that. You shouldn't let, people just act crazy. I don't know what's wrong with that individual, but that they need to have some sort of awakening for that. So, anyway, that's gross. Don't do that. I don't think any of our listeners would do that. And again, congratulations to thoughts per second on the world first clear. Yelta and I are close behind. I think.
Yeah, I unlocked it, so I'm practically there.
Yeah, that's great. I'm still working on E2S, but soon after I clear E4S, I will be happy to run this ultimate. So
I lie because I can't unlock it because I haven't even done E2S.
I know. Okay, well, that's all I've got to say about that. Any other thoughts from you, Yelta?
Don't be gross human beings. I mean, Jesus Christ. Stop it. All right. Let's take some shots. We do have a forum post that we'd like to cover. Ishgard Firmament didn't get to participate. Now, we talked a little bit about Ishgard Restoration last week, and we talked that, one server had already finished it, and so people were worried now that they turned off the ability to visit other servers, that other servers wouldn't. I think everybody's done now, right? That's where we need to start. Every single server, I think, has completed it.
That's right.
So even Fairy completed it, even all those little servers, they're done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the problem is kind of like actually the opposite of that. So Ishgard Firmament, this I'm just going to read this original post here. This event sounded great from the outside looking in until I realized it's not really fit for a working person. A good 9 to 5 in any traffic kept me out of doing any of these fates that were popping. And in addition to that, I couldn't even try my hand at it on another server because now we're restricted. I really hope they change this for any future installments, as it's really a bummer. Pay a sub to get locked out of content, I guess. And yes, I know I'm on Ballmug, but it'd be nice if they had just made instances that led up to one collective goal. That way, some others could participate too. Hoping for the next time. Too long didn't read, crying over getting locked out. And I know immediately they're like, this is only phase one of many, many future ones. And there's a lot of apologists, I think, in this. I think if this is the same thread I read earlier, there's a lot of people like, well, you didn't really miss anything. The fate was bare bones or whatever. But it's like, but it was content in the game advertised as crafting and gathering content for anyone who cares to participate. So that's like just like step one of where I will start. So was there anything specific you wanted to point out?
Same points that you want. I mean, you take a stab and I'll follow up.
All right. So one of a couple of the apologists is like, someone's like, they didn't get to see the fate yet, and so they want to know what's the big deal. From what I gathered so far, they give a lot of EXP, which they say uninteresting for someone with all crafts at 80, and not even that impressive for someone who doesn't, considering how easy it is to level crafters, and 500 of those script. But that can't be it, right? Because neither of these rewards seems to be worth all of this fuss, at least not to me. So, can someone tell me what I'm missing here and why these fates are such a big deal? And someone replied just simply with participation, and they're not wrong. And the scripts are really good too, don't get me wrong. And someone followed up with, they would have liked to see the changes to the area, I don't know.
Yeah, I have opinions on that. I don't like the tone of shame on you. You should have got in here early. I don't know if that hits the same stuff that this person's talking about, but I just have a general statement I want to make, I guess. I don't like the tone of people talking about, you should have been in an hour, 2 hours early. You should have known the difference, blah, 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 blah. This was implemented very badly. Yoshida should take some responsibility for how badly this was implemented and at least give some sort of consolation by telling us when the next one is going to be scheduled and what he's going to do around that to make sure everybody can see the participation.
They should throw the fate back up, I think, even with nerfed rewards. We have
what's the problem with that? Throwing the fate back up, even if it doesn't serve any purpose other than just allowing people to participate in the fate. Drop it to maybe 100 tomes or something, seals, scripts, whatever the fuck they're called now, and let everybody
XP or something. But
a little XP something. I mean, I know I got a good chunk of change of XP. I don't even mind if the XP buff stayed. I don't know what they thought about doing with this, because if the XP was so good, because I gained like one whole level from doing that. It was like 62 to 63.
Everybody I know who participated in the fate got their next level.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's what they were going with it, or they knew like, well, this is only going to go 6 times. So, it's cool if they get 6 levels out of this, but no more than that. So, maybe they had an idea with that. Maybe they didn't. They just threw shit against the wall and, saw what stuck. I don't know the strategy behind making 6 fates appear, make them as shitty as possible, because they knew that the zone would be just so jam-packed with people you couldn't do anything but touch 3 spots.
I couldn't do it, I couldn't even
and it
touch
was
the
even
box.
so buggy, the last set of fates, that some people couldn't do it properly. And I get where some people would want to say, well, you didn't miss much, because I wanted to say that at the beginning too, but when I find out that there's only X number of fates, it's not a continuous process. I'm like, well, yeah, you didn't miss much, but you missed it completely, and you'll never have an opportunity. I honestly, Yelta, now this sounds terrible, but I'm having trouble telling the difference between when I saw it the first time and the second or whatever. Somebody's going to have to point out what pillars is standing up.
The visible changes were minor. I should have taken screenshots when I first went in there.
Mm-hmm.
When I first walked, because I was sick that day, and when I finally got out of bed, I did log in and went over to Ishgard and unlocked it, and I think I was involved in the first and the second fate. So I did get to do the fates. Mind you, now that I think about it, if I had gone to work that day, I wouldn't have seen that one, and I probably wouldn't have seen any of the rest of them. Well, one of them I did see, but it was buggy, because I stayed up till 2:16 in the morning or whatever the fuck it was. Now, don't get me wrong. Half the time when people whine about I work and I have kids and blah, 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 so I didn't get to participate, my stance is usually, well, and then, this is an online game, and, if you don't have time, you're going to progress more slowly than other people. And I still think that's valid, but this is like, it's not even like that. This is not something ongoing that you can just hope to catch on the weekend. Right. Some servers were completely done by the first weekend.
Yep.
In fact, I think most of the servers were done before, or a lot of this. I don't know. I don't have the timeline on it, but I remember going from, well, you couldn't log in on Tuesday or Wednesday. Surely the fate will pop. I thought this stuff was going to continue until the next update, right?
Yeah, me too.
I figured we would have till the next update to get all the things. I'm glad you can still turn stuff in because I don't know. Well, and then somebody else in here has a really good comment about, I get that this is I feel like this is experimental, and, but what happens to the player who starts next year and we've already finished all this Ishgard stuff? Are they going to do a restoration in another zone so everybody can... And again, half the time I'm usually like, well, you didn't play the game, so why should you get the rewards? But, like some of our crossover events and stuff. But, it's like, this is a game that wasn't super popular. And maybe I'm softening my stance on that. Maybe it's not the end of the world that, I have the exclusive Lightning Return stuff that was only in a Fate or in a crossover event that was in the game twice now. When we do the Xbox version and when we do the new PlayStation version and, whatever else, are they going to throw those events again? Because people who didn't have a computer or a PlayStation or whatever at the time, so I'm really torn because half of me is like, well, you snooze, you didn't play the game, you shouldn't get the rewards. But the other half of me is like, well, you play the game now, and it's kind of, especially the way this game is designed, is very catch-up friendly, is very, I don't know, usually you don't miss out on too much stuff. I don't know.
I think if
on the Mog Station.
I think if you were subbed when something is the day something is implemented, if my sub is on September 1st and they implement something on September 1st, I better damn be able to, if I'm able to log into the game, be able to get into that content if I can make whatever requirements. The problem for this content wasn't that people weren't making it into it because of the requirements. People weren't making it into it because they were blocked out from wanderers from other servers, and this content was implemented poorly all the way around. And so when people can't get into it, even though they're sub, this isn't. I agree with you on every other situation. If you missed the Halloween event, I'm so sorry. Buy it on the Mog Station next year. You weren't subbed or you didn't log in during that time. But if you were subbed and you were logged in and you went to New Gridania and you couldn't get into the amphitheater because there were so many damn NPCs around, right, and you missed the entire event because they only had it for a day. No, wait a fucking second. I'm going to be mad at that shit. Even if somebody says, well, you only got cookies and fireworks. Well, hold on. I might have wanted a cookie and popped a firecracker. All right? So I don't know. That's where I stand on it. I think these people should have been able to get into it and do it. And I think Yoshida needs to acknowledge it and compensate it. Great that he acknowledged that there was a problem and did a hot fix. Now he needs to come back around and say, we've done evaluation for a week, 2 weeks, whatever. Here's what we found out. Here's what we'd like to do in lieu of that. As we go forward, there's going to be a different way we do this, and we take your feedback seriously. Blah blah.
Yeah, I'm really surprised we haven't gotten one of those Yoshi P about, blah, blah, blah. We've heard you, blah, blah, blah letters. We have, he did about the Wanderers, right? Mm-hmm. This is arguably worse than that. The Wanderer stuff, I figured even if they didn't turn that switch off, in a week and 2 weeks the push would die down, and then the rest of us could get in there and work on this content. Right. So I understand, I'm usually, I actually think this is the worst problem. Then people were, overpopulating the zone, and I couldn't be the first to grind out my mount. Well, kind of, oh well, because it's still going to be there, but these fates aren't there anymore. I don't know. I'm pretty salty about this because I got to participate somewhat, but I didn't. I don't know. I didn't get to participate in the group activity. I didn't get to. I know the fate was kind of lame, right? No, neither of us are saying that the fate was outstanding, but I didn't really. I don't know. I didn't know it wasn't going to be there. I guess that's kind of what other people thought too.
Yeah, that's just again, it's just poorly implemented. I don't know what they think about. It could have really used some test server, some kind of something when they implemented this. I mean, for a stress test, it's fantastic. For a stress test, I think it's fantastic. But other than that, I don't think it's very good at all. And I've heard some other suggestions. There were some great suggestions that were out there, but it's kind of too late. They were all suggestions on how to stop the flood of wanderers from clogging up the systems. Everybody just kind of thought, okay, we stopped the wanderer problem. Now we can.
And I still couldn't participate.
I could still participate.
I couldn't. I could not still participate. And it's bullshit. I don't know. And some people are like white knighting hard. There's people in this thread are just like, it's kind of impressive how much they're like, oh, it's fine that you didn't get to participate. Wow, this person says, with the restriction, the chances of someone seeing the event after they missed it on their world is 0%. Oh, wait, okay. Oh, no, this read wrong. Especially if someone can't log in the 8-hour span between the two. I don't know. I really want a response. I guess, am I wrong? I would like to, at this point, I'd like a response and an assurance that they're going to do something different.
Yeah, I guess it's too early for them to tell us what they're going to do, but it would be nice to get a glimpse of the crystal ball to see what they have planned for the next set of stuff, or at least dazzle us with a little of diadem things, or just move the fucking fates to the diadem, I guess. Leave it out of that zone, make that zone just for the turn-ins, and leave the fucking fates out of it and move it. Maybe that's what they're going to do. Maybe there's not going to be any more fates in that zone. They're just going to make it where the diadem has all the crafting and gathering fates, and I'd be okay with that.
Even so I was thinking like, okay, so we hit the bar and the timer's up. Maybe they should make us group up and go into instances for the fate or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What if we party up or the first 72 people that touch this gate get put in the first instance, and the next 72 get put in the next instance. There's got to be a remedy that doesn't make it stupid.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we've whined enough. There be problems though.
Mm-hmm. Clearly
problems, and it's over. It's done. All right, happy hour. We skipped this for a couple weeks because we were really long. So, Snickbad, we are so sorry. But this was when we were talking about, I think, that NPC fight. I think we can say spoilers now. Is this the one where you were Estinian?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Right. People were crying about the NPC fight. Snickbed says, I thought the NPC fight was well done this time around. It makes sense to make them a part of the Meanwhile in the Hall of Justice bets, since it actively engages the player in a part of the story, even though the Warrior of Light is not around, instead of having the player passively watching a 20-minute cutscene. Dude, I so agree with you. They really kind of pull you back into the... I want to know what's going on, because I think all of this information of what's going on in the Empire is going to be important. Mm-hmm. They won't have to tell us that later, right? While you were on the first and running around doing all this other shit, and then all this stuff happened, right? They can just kind of feed it to us a little bit in between and kind of whet our appetites. So he continues. It's a lot more jarring when you're there and the NPC sends you off so they can take care of business. Gee, I'm sorry if my stoic nods bore you, but I'm the top billing and you better have a damn good reason for stealing my spotlight. He's not wrong there either, where you're like there and then they're like, your character's there, but now you're playing Estinian. Well, why am I...
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, they're implementing this very well. I enjoyed the Estinian part. I don't agree with the official forum post that says get rid of these, they're boring. I don't understand that whatsoever. I think they're great. They pull you in. It's not just watching a cutscene. I also agree with what Sigbed says because it's not as fun when you're just on the sideline. You're watching the Dothraki or whatever they are kill each other. But the way they did the Estinian one was done extremely well because you were getting that other side story, and plus, for most, maybe not the Crucible, but for most people, Estinian's a badass and they like him, and it's kind of cool to get to play as one as cool as Estinian.
He was really cool in that fight.
Yeah,
and I thought it hit kind of a nice middle ground. Some of those fights I felt like, well, I only have 3 abilities. And some fights feel like, oh my god, I don't play a healer, so I don't know what these 7 buttons do, or whatever. This one, the fight started, but nothing actually attacked you. So I stood back and hovered over each one of the buttons and read them and mentally noted what they were likely for, right? Because by the time you're playing this, you know, well, what an AoE might be. I might need to do an AoE, and this one heals me. And then I noticed the limit break on the bar, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to tell me when to use that. So... I thought this one was well done. I don't main or do much dragooning. I do have a level 80 dragoon, but I don't really know dragooning things. That and his abilities are different anyway. So, but I didn't find it weird or jarring not to be on White Mage to do a quest. I don't think I didn't fail it either.
Yeah.
Occasionally you miss what the fight wants you to do, right? There's some trigger that you fail to do because you're healing too much, or I've done some where I was obviously burning them too quickly and then it just wipes you or whatever.
Set it to very easy and you'll be fine. No, I've had it happen to me too. I don't remember which one it was. I don't think it might have been Thancreds, but I feel like it was something in Stormblood. Maybe it happened to me once. Maybe it was the one with Hien. I'm not sure.
I have one that I think I don't remember. It was a way old one. I think it was going on forever because I think I was actually killing the guys.
Tataru?
I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be. I was playing as me, I think, with NPCs though. It was actually slightly different, but it was one of those instanced solo storyline, fights. And I think I was actually burning the bad guys too quickly, and I was supposed to be letting them cut down my guys.
Oh, okay.
Because it didn't trigger till your guys started dying or something. I don't remember now. But this one I thought was not that jarring. Now, I've heard of people who it was bugged, or maybe they misunderstood what it was trying to tell you to do, and occasionally, but I don't know. I thought this one was pretty well done. You do have to read. There were some messages that would come up or some...
Oh, yeah, because of the limit break. People weren't understanding to use the limit break properly.
Yeah. Yep. I know a lot of people died, and it's but it told you to use the limit break. But anyway, thank you for the notes, Nick Bad.
Thank you.
And happy to hear another voice on this. Whew. All right, then I think it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can find links to all of our episodes and blog posts on our website, www.gtffxiv.com. While you're there, please leave us a comment. And if you'd like to, you can support us by clicking the donation button. You can find us on Twitter at GTFFXIV. Email us at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Please rate us. Personal plugs, Ruby.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at RubiconVale, RubiconVale.
And you can find me on Twitter at YeltaSumasu, YeltaSumasu. As always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.